It's a question we all bump into at some point. How do I live a more fulfilling life? It's a huge question, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really compelling framework, one that uses 5 simple but super profound questions to guide you toward an answer. So let's get right into it. The whole inspiration for this actually comes from a single, really powerful moment. I want you to picture this. You're watching a 1-minute obituary montage that crams a person's entire 80-year life, from being a kid to their final days, into just a few fleeting seconds. The source describes how seeing that just sparked this critical realization. Our time here is so limited. It really forces you to ask, okay, how can I be intentional about making my life actually count? So, what is it that drives us in the first place? What's behind that constant chase? Let's take a look at the powerful, often invisible forces that are pulling the strings behind our decisions and that constant search for satisfaction. All right, so according to behavioral psychologists that our source material points to, pretty much everything we do is driven by 6 core motivations. We crave security. That's why we lock our doors at night, right? We also seek variety, that thrill of a new experience. We all want significance, to feel important, to feel seen. Of course, we need love and acceptance. And then there's this innate drive for growth, to get better. And finally, we want to make an impact, to contribute to something bigger than just ourselves. Now, think about all of those for a second. Chasing that big promotion, traveling the world, building a safe and secure home. What's the real end game? The source argues that it doesn't matter what path you're on, the destination we're all secretly hoping for is the same. Just a deep, internal sense of peace. But here's the thing. If chasing those motivations directly often feels like you're on a hamster wheel, what's the alternative? Well, the source material offers a completely different path, a framework built on 4 foundational pillars, all designed to lead us toward a more lasting sense of meaning. Okay, the first pillar is destiny. Now, before you think of some rigid, unchangeable fate, that's not what this is about. Instead, think of it as your unique potential, kind of like the highest possible outcome that your life's path is designed to reach if you follow it. And that leads us right to the second pillar, purpose. So if destiny is the destination, purpose is the why behind the whole journey. It's the specific reason you exist and the unique role you're meant to play. Next up, we've got potential. Think of these as the raw materials you've been given to work with, all those inherent abilities and natural talents you were just born with. They aren't fully formed, though. The whole point is that they're meant to be developed and refined over time. And finally, all of this leads to the ultimate goal, fulfillment. The source defines this as something way deeper than just achieving goals. It's described as this profound satisfaction that comes from knowing you've lived effectively, you've served a higher purpose, and you've actually been a positive force for humanity. Okay, so how do we actually put these big ideas, destiny, purpose, potential, into practice? Well, the source material lays out a roadmap guided by these 5 fundamental questions. They really build on each other, so while we can't go super deep on all 5 today, we're going to trace the path through the most critical ones to see exactly how they all connect. Let's kick things off with that first massive question. Who am I? According to the source, finding a solid answer to this is one of the biggest challenges we face today. It's what it calls a full-blown identity crisis. Think about it. The world is constantly trying to slap labels on us. We're defined by our jobs, by our past mistakes, by our social media profile. But the source material contrasts these external, shaky labels with an internal, spiritually grounded identity. It suggests we should see ourselves as wonderfully made, or the light of the world, identities that are completely separate from what anyone else thinks. So, once we have a more stable sense of who we are, we can move on to the third question on our roadmap. Why am I here? This is all about purpose, and the source offers a really fascinating, almost counterintuitive clue for how to find it. And here it is. This is the brilliant connection the source makes. The key to understanding why you are here, which is question 3, is actually hidden in the answer to question 4. What can I do? So the crucial point is this. Your potentials are not random. The source uses a great analogy. It's like seeing a person with a stethoscope around their neck. You just assume they're a doctor, right? In the same way, your inherent abilities, whether it's a gift for leadership, a talent for creating art, or just being a person people trust, they're all clues. They're signposts pointing you directly toward your purpose. But just having potential isn't enough, right? This framework emphasizes a really clear 4-step process. First, you have to discover your gifts. Then, and this is so important, you have to appreciate them, not downplay them or brush them off. From there, you develop them through practice, through effort, and finally, you deploy them in service of your purpose. This whole journey, discovering our identity, our purpose, our potential, it all builds toward that fifth and final question on the roadmap. Where am I going? And this is really about our ultimate destination, our legacy. The source offers this really sobering thought. We don't get to grade our own lives. It suggests that when our time is up, our script is marked by two parties, by a higher power and by the people we leave behind. The impact we actually had, that becomes our final score. So, as we wrap this up, the framework leaves us with the ultimate question. By working to answer who you are, why you're here, and what you can do, you are actively, right now, writing your life story. The only question left is, what's it gonna say?